What's going on, guys? In this video, I'm going to be doing a deck profile on one of my favorite decks of all time, and probably some of y'all's favorite deck of all time, Elemental Heroes, otherwise known to some people as Omni Heroes, which I don't really like that name for whatever reason. But in the current meta, this deck is actually decent. Is it a tier 1 threat? No, not a chance. You're probably going to get cooked if you play yugioh, Snake Eyes, stuff like that. However, this deck does have the capability to beat those decks, especially if you go first. The board that it creates is pretty impressive and actually really hard to get over, all thanks to this card. In a lot of the games, this card alone can win you the game because it's basically a Macrocosmos on legs, and if you haven't noticed, a lot of these decks are graveyard based. So it turns off Fiendsmith, Snake Eyes, yugioh stuff. Yugioh probably has a little bit better matchup than some decks against this card, but nonetheless, it's going to take a lot to beat this on top of a full combo, which includes a lot of interruptions, as we all know. So, before we waste a lot of time talking about it, let's get straight into the deck profile. Alright guys, let's get right into it. I do want to go in a little bit more detail about why I play these cards and how I came up with this list. So, let's start off with the main deck first, and I'll tell you kind of where I differ from some people. So you'll see some lists play two Stratos. That's just not right. I mean, it's a 1-card starter for the deck. It's an awesome card to have. It's good going second, good going first. There's no reason to play 2. I just do not see anywhere where you play 2. Oh, so you can put one more piece of non-engine in the deck. Okay, that's not enough. So anyways, 3 Stratos for sure. 3 Ferris, definitely, most definitely. 3 Mali. This is like the most self-explanatory one. There's no... This is possibly the best card in the hero deck, just off of the way it allows you to extend and go for your combos. So now for our 2 ofs, you got 2 Vion, 2 Increase. If you're playing one, you are just way too brave. If you're playing one of each of these, you're just too brave. I mean, you're gonna draw 1 ofs. And think about it this way. Why would you play a 1 of like Called by the Grave if you didn't think you were going to see it? It's the same with this. Like, this is a card that you don't need to play 1 of because you need to see it. And I mean, you don't need to see it. You see what I'm saying? Like, you don't need to see it in your hand, which it may not make sense because, well, why would I want to play 2 of these? Because in all actuality, this one's not a complete brick. This one kind of is, but still, you don't want to open this. For our 1 ofs, 1 Denier. This is standard. Critical combo piece. Neos, critical combo piece. Shadow Mist, critical combo piece. Plasma, critical combo piece. One of your best cards going second. Liquid Soldier. If there's any card in the deck that you would cut, it'd be this one, in all honesty. But in certain hands, you can get to this, and that draw that you get off of it is just too good. This card... cuttable, but it's actually not that bad. It can be an extender. Also, a monster declares an attack, or if your opponent activates a monster effect on the field, you contribute this card, destroy that 1 monster, and if you do, inflict damage to your opponent equal to its original attack. So it's not too shabby. Not too shabby. Is it mandatory? No. Can it be a brick going first? Sometimes. So anyways, let's go into the spells and the rest of the deck. Alright, put this out of the way. 3, A Hero Lives. This is a 1-card starter for the deck. Unfortunately, it has such a high cost that in Game 3 situations, it's a little dangerous. So just be wary of that. If you cannot use this, don't. Fusion Destiny. Literally just such a great card. Like, if your combo gets stopped and you have this in hand, you at least are putting up a decent monster. In Destiny Hero Phoenix Enforcer, or I mean, yeah, DP, yeah. I had to think about it for a second. It didn't sound right coming off the tongue. 2 Mass Change. This is another optional one because it is searchable in your combo. The reason you don't want to play 3 is because it is a little bricky. I mean, 3, a little iffy. However, this is a good card. Double Dark Law. If you ever establish that, you're in really good shape against a lot of the meta. But in general, like you might have to use one on Dark Law. You might have to use one for, you'll see in the extra deck what we play. We play 2 targets for it. So if you are going to play 2, I would play 2 targets, just so you don't really have just a dead card. But anyway, it's a really good card. Just know that. Mass Change, Dark Law, just know it's great. Okay. Our one-ofs. Miracle Fusion. Polymerization. Dude, these are mandatory. It's heroes. Almost consider 2 polymerization. One eternal favorite contact. Self-explanatory. You know, if you're playing heroes without this card, you're really cutting yourself at the knees and making the deck not as powerful as it could be. So now we're going to get into our non-engine, and I want to talk about this in a realistic way. You know, because a lot of people will say, well, why don't you play hand traps? Why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? Guys, understand, Heroes is in a spot where if we go second, we're in a very big disadvantage against the modern meta. Think about it. What you have at most in Heroes 11, 12, 13 non-engine, and that's what if you make cuts that you really don't want to make cuts, you can maybe get it up to 13, 14, 15. But then you sacrifice consistency. So we got to think about what cards going second will be maximum value and what cards going first will be maximum value, or at least bare minimum not dead. So one card is Forbidden Droplet. As we were talking about before, you know, if you're going into a full yugioh board, you're not beating them going second, most likely with heroes. With any deck, it's going to be very, very hard. So we just have to play what we can. 3 Book of Eclipse. And even if you changed all of these cards I'm about to show you to hand traps, your chances of drawing multiples, which is what you need, is very low. It's very rare that 1 Imperm is going to stop a turn of any deck right now, much less Yubel, Snake Eyes, or Tempai Dragon's Lair, or something like that. Book of Eclipse is a good thing for us. We can dodge our own stuff, like dodge Imperms with it. It's just really good. 2 talents, because 3 can brick. It can be a little redundant. This card is the only one of these that at times can be completely dead. But we're probably winning if we go first and don't get interrupted at all. We should be winning most of those games, unless they just have a god hand. Now, for our other non-engine, Foolish Burial, self-explanatory. This might as well be a hero card. As long as Malicious is in the world, this will be in every hero deck. 1 Called by the Grave, because Called by the Grave is literally a god card sometimes. When you get shifted, which hurts this deck tremendously, yeah, you're going to want that. So, anyways, let's go into the extra deck. And this is where my list differs a little bit from a lot of people's. And there is one change I probably would make. I'm just not 100% sold on it yet. So first off, let's just go ahead and say 2 Dark Law, okay? It's freaking Dark Law. It's so good against Yubel, so good against Snake Eyes, so good against every deck in the format other than maybe Tempai. But even Tempai is not completely useless. Shining Neos Wingman. This is one of our win cons. You gotta play it. Infernal Rage, part of the combo. Destiny Hero Dystopia. A lot of people have cut this one, but it's another option. Maybe you can make this on turn 2, or even sometimes going second. This card can be a little better than DPE sometimes, because of, and plus it can be kind of a time card also. Inflict damage equal to your opponent's target's attack. No. If this card special summon, you target 1 level 4 or lower Destiny Hero monster in your graveyard, inflict damage to your opponent equal to that target's attack. Quick effect. You can target 1 card on the field, destroy it, and if you do, this card's attack becomes equal to this card's original attack. Wait, hold on. Is that right? What the heck? You can target 1 card on the field, destroy it, and if you do, this card's attack becomes equal to this card's original attack. Okay. Anyways, can be good in time, and it's just situational, but it's good in certain situations. One Sunrise, it's literally part of your combo. You just play one. This deck, if you get into a grind game with some of the top decks, you're probably not going to be winning anyway, so that'll kind of explain why I'm not playing two of some of these. I just feel like maximizing your options are better in this format. Wake Up, this is good for OTK. It's part of your combo too at times. Ab-Zero, there's times where this card can just solo. DPE, it's literally still one of the best cards in the game. It's after all these years. Master Hero Blast, simply because we're playing 2 Mass Change, and this is good for your Stratos. You know, to block impermanent stuff. For our links, Cross Crusader, Wonder Driver, Dread Decimator, and Extra Hero Infernal Divisor. And then for Shifter, play 1 Baguska, and just pray. You know, hopefully you have a Book of Eclipse. Hopefully you have follow-up for the next turn. Hopefully this doesn't get impermed. Lots of different things that you hope if you're under Shifter. But luckily we can get to this pretty easily. So just be careful, you know, when you use it, because you do get locked at times. But anyways, that's it for the deck profile, guys. I really appreciate you watching it. I think Heroes is a really good deck right now. It's just not quite where it needs to be. Hopefully this new support, the Evil Hero support, will put Heroes back in the map again, and put us back in meta contention. But this deck is still very fun to take to locals, and it can definitely win games. I mean, like I said, you have to be realistic and just build your deck according to your local community. Like, if your locals is playing a lot of heavy combo decks, you know, you may want to sub out the talents for the talents and some of the board breakers for Droll and Lockbird or Nibiru or something like that, or at least side those cards. But this deck is just kind of, it's built to beat the overall meta in the best way that you can. If you draw a Droplet and Book of Eclipse, there's a good chance that you can break some of these boards. Is it likely? Probably not. We have to be realistic at the same time. You have to have perfect hands, but it's possible. But anyways, like I said, be sure to like and subscribe, and let me know in the comments what you think about the deck, and I'll see you on the next one.